With the announcement of Mewtwo being downloadable content in Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U as a playable character, people are wondering if there will be more characters to come later on, especially after seeing how many that did not make it from Brawl. So on this first episode of Smash 4 DLC Speculation, I will be covering which veterans that I think will be returning as DLC for Super Smash Bros. 4. Now before I talk about which characters that I think will be coming back as DLC, I want to elaborate on the rosters of both versions. As you can see here, this is the 3DS version with all the playable characters unlocked, and here is the Wii U version. Notice something? The 3DS version has extra space opened on the bottom for 4 more characters. However, in the Wii U version, there is extra space for 6, 2 on the top and bottom rows, and 1 on both of the middle rows. What does this mean? It means that there could potentially be 2 additional characters that will be exclusive to the Wii U version. Now I know that some will point out the fact that Sakurai himself said that the rosters on both versions would be the same, but that doesn't necessarily mean that both have to have the same amount of DLC. For example, in the Smash Wii U 50 Fact Extravaganza, Tournament Mode was announced as free DLC only for the Wii U version. So technically, there was already exclusive DLC planned before the Wii U version was even released. My main point is that exclusive DLC may also apply to characters. One thing to back up my claim is that if you go into the trophy box in the Wii U version, you'll see that there are between 5 to 8 trophies displayed at once. Seeing how there will need to be at least 2 new trophies made for Mewtwo, a Classic Mode one and an All-Star Mode one, that means that there will need to be more DLC characters made in order to fill that new display. That theme of that display being the quote-unquote DLC display. To reiterate, Trophy Box is exclusive to the Wii U version, and there could be 2 possible outcomes for what the DLC trophy display will look like. The first one could have 6 trophies that will display all the DLC characters. 6 being the number of characters that I think will be in the Wii U version, while the 3DS version will only have 4, thus proving my hypothesis. The second outcome could be that 8 trophies will be displayed at once, 1 row for the Classic Mode trophies, and another for the All-Star trophies, or Final Smash trophies, meaning that the Wii U and 3DS versions will share the same DLC characters, and that there will only be 4 of them. Now there is a chance that I could be wrong about both predictions entirely and that Mewtwo may be the only character that we get for DLC period. After all, Sakurai also said that there will be no more DLC for Smash Bros. After Mewtwo. However, I'm sure he only said that to try and make us think that we won't be getting any. But honestly, even if Sakurai is lying to us, I can't really blame him. I mean, after the massive leak that happened back in August of last year, which pretty much showed off everything that was in the 3DS version, I wouldn't put it past Sakurai to lie about there being no more DLC. Him and Nintendo probably want to keep that information as secure as possible. And if that is the case, all we can do for now is predict who is going to make it as DLC. Now with all that out of the way, let me discuss which veteran characters that were initially cut that I think will be coming back as DLC. Now out of all the veterans that were cut from the initial Smash 4 roster, I think Wolf has the highest chance of coming back as DLC, mainly because there is a new Star Fox coming out this year which can bring back interest in the Star Fox franchise. My second reason for why I think Wolf will be coming back, and this is going to sound like I'm reaching, but if you perform the special taunt that Fox and Falco can do on their home stage Lilac Cruise, you can see that the model for Wolf is different than the one he had when you performed the taunt on this stage in Brawl, which has led me to believe that maybe they have a model for Wolf that they're currently working on to be used as the appearance that Wolf will have to match the more cartoonish look of Smash 4. Some might argue that Wolf will not return due to Fox having an alternate costume that looks similar to him, and the fact that Fox has the Wolf Flash attack as one of his custom moves. But you know how fans are, they just can't be satisfied until they have the real thing. If I were to make a prediction on when Wolf were to be released, I would go with the fall of 2015 as a co-release with the new Star Fox. which for the sake of being a little less vague with my prediction, I'm going to go with October 2015, but you never know. This is a rather tricky one to discuss, because I believe that the Ice Climbers have just as much of a chance of coming back as Wolf does, if you're willing to accept one of two possibilities. The first option is to have them be exclusive to the Wii U version. As most of you know, the Ice Climbers were cut from the roster due to the hardware on the 3DS. However, Sakurai claims that he and his team had the Ice Climbers working just fine on the Wii U. And because Sakurai wanted both versions to have the same roster, they were removed from the game. Some people make the argument that Ice Climbers can't come back on the Wii U either due to 8-player Smash, meaning that the Wii U would have to run 16 fighters at once. And we don't know exactly how far back the Ice Climbers were cut or when exactly 8-player Smash was implemented. So I see where they're coming from, but I'm going to take Sakurai's word for once and say that the Ice Climbers would play just fine on the Wii U. The second option you can choose is that there'll be DLC for both versions, but for the 3DS version, they'll be playable on the new 3DS due to the more powerful hardware. Now, I have no idea how they would do this or how they would program the game to be able to have them be activated when they're played on the new 3DS, but hey, it's Nintendo. They've been doing this stuff since the Game Boy Color, so who knows how they would do it. As for a release date for Ice Climber DLC, I could see them being released in the winter of 2015 or early 2016. Specifically January 2016, as that will be the 31st anniversary of the original Ice Climber video game in Japan. And that time frame would fit in with their Arctic theme. By that time, I would expect there to be at least 4 DLC characters available, which brings me to my next character. Unlike the previous veterans I've just mentioned that I believe have high chances of coming back, this is where I believe that the rest of the cut veterans will either stay removed from the game for good or get put back in due to high demand. And if that's the case with the rest of these veterans, then I'm pretty sure we can all agree that Lucas is the first character in line. And why is that? Well, let me just put it very bluntly, the Mother fanbase. The Mother fanbase has got to be one of, if not, the most dedicated fanbase for a video game series ever. It's practically a cult following. Heck, it was the support by the fanbase that got Shigesato Itoi to make Mother 3 on the Game Boy Advance after he had it cancelled on the Nintendo 64, and its ill-fated accessory, the N64 DD. Getting back on track, if a fanbase like Earthbound's can get a cancelled project to be revived, then they most definitely can get a character to come back to a fighting game. So Mother fans, do what you do best, and preach for Lucas to return in Super Smash Bros. 4. But in all seriousness, Lucas returning as DLC sounds rather unlikely due to all of his special moves being given to Ness as customs. But like I said with Wolf, fans won't be satisfied until they have the real thing. If we were to get Lucas as a downloadable fighter, I could see him being released in the summer of 2015, probably around July, as that will be the 26th anniversary of the Mother series. Oh, and I should point this out, as I was still writing the script for this first episode, Sakurai came out and said that Mewtwo has finally been completed, and that its release date will be announced soon. Seeing how registration for download codes to get Mewtwo expires on March 31st, it means that Mewtwo will most likely become available sometime in April. Now, what Sakurai said about Mewtwo wasn't exactly the main reason I brought this up. The reason for why I'm bringing this up is because if Mewtwo were to be released in April, that would mean there could be one new DLC veteran fighter from Brawl every 3 months, mainly the ones I mentioned previously, if one were to accept my predictions. Now, I'm not saying that I am right about everything I have said in this video, but if you really think about it, bringing back veterans that were last seen in Brawl shouldn't have to take as much time to complete as Mewtwo did. The reason as to why Mewtwo took so long is because supposedly transferring data from Melee over to Smash 4 is very difficult due to Melee being a very old game, according to Sakurai. Now, We don't know if he had to use Mewtwo's data from Melee to use as a head start or remade it from the ground up. However, with all the time he had to make Mewtwo, I'm willing to bet the latter, essentially meaning that Mewtwo has been given the Bowser treatment in this game. Most of, not all, his moveset will have new animations or possibly even new moves, and he will be buffed. Significantly buffed. You won't even recognize him. And those are all the cut veterans that I think will be returning in Smash Bros. 4. As for all the other ones that did not make it into the initial roster, I think their chances of returning are slim to none. Pichu won't be coming back for obvious reasons. Squirtle and Ivysaur, I can only see both of them coming back at the same time, not one or the other, thus oversaturating the Pokemon representation in this game, which I don't think Pokemon will be topping the Mario franchise in terms of characters this time around. Young Link, after seeing how he plays in Hyrule Warriors, I think they could actually make his moveset a bit more different from Link and Toon Link, but I don't see them going that extra mile just to add another variant of the same exact character. Roy, I think, will only come back if they were to make him at least a semi-clone of Marth, like in Project M. Which, like I said about Young Link, I don't think they're going to go that extra mile, especially when there's already a fantastic amount of Fire Emblem representation in Smash 4. And last but not least, we have Snake. You know, as much as I loved Snake in Brawl, and there really is nothing keeping him out of this game moveset-wise, I just don't see him coming back due to the relationship between Metal Gear and Nintendo as of late. It would be awesome to see him make a surprise return, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that happening. And that wraps up this first episode of Super Smash Bros. 4 DLC Speculation. Make sure to comment, leave a like, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Next episode, we will be discussing the potential of past stages coming back in the form of DLC and how exactly they will be distributed. Have a great day, and remember to keep on smashing!